I was told the true definition of a man was to never cry. Work till you're tired, got to provide. Always be the rock for my fam, protect them by all means. And give you the things that you need, baby. Our relationship is suffering, trying to give you what I never had. You say I don't know how to love you, babe. Well, I say show me the way. I keep my feelings deep inside, I shadow them with my pride. I'm trying desperately, baby, just work with me. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Yeah. Teach me how to love. Yeah. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me, show me how to love. Show me the way to surrender my heart. Girl, I'm so lost. Teach me how to love. How I can get my emotions involved. Yeah. Teach me how to love. I was always taught to be strong. Never let them think you care at all. Let no one get close to me.
If you would like to advertise your business on Conversations with Cupid, airing every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Instinct Radio, email us at shay@middleclassmatchmaker.com. That's shay@middleclassmatchmaker.com.
It's Georgia's best Conversations with Cupid Radio. Your host, Shay Primus on InstinctRadio.net.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Cupid. I'm your host, Shay, middle class matchmaker. I'm so excited about today's show because I know sex is a hot topic in single world. It should be a hot topic in marriage world, but it is a real hot topic in single world, let me tell you. Before we dig in, I want to tell you about my guest, a little bit about my guest today. She is a graduate of my alma mater, Clark Atlanta University. Yes. Yay! Go Panthers, CAU. What was this?
The rain.
I'm like, what is this? Rain Clark Atlanta. Okay. Like, what is she doing? But anyway, I'm so excited to have her on the show because whenever we bring up sex among the singles, I mean, I'm talking about it's a big deal. It could be like, I could post like some anecdote or I could ask a question. It's always a big deal. This is a big topic. Okay. And I know there are a lot of people having lots of sex. I don't know if it's good, but I know they're having it. Okay. And then we have another segment of people who aren't having sex at all. And they are saving themselves for marriage, or some of them have never had sex at all. Some of them have been abused, and that's keeping them from having sex. Some people are they've been hurt in various relationships and they don't want to do that again, so they're not having sex. I mean, sex is a big issue from one spectrum to the next. And we've had several shows. We had a show on polyamory, and that was like, people were like, oh. So we've talked about various aspects. We've had a show on celibacy, abstinence. We've had lots of shows on dating because we're singles. But I definitely want to get you on as a sex therapist because we need expert advice on this sex thing.
Well, I appreciate you having me.
Tell us more about you and what you want them to know about you,
So,
Mikaela.
a little bit about me. Mikaela Black, I'm a licensed professional counselor. My practice is located in Atlanta, the North Druid Hills, Beaufort Highway region, Brookhaven, sort of Buckhead area. And I am a sex therapist. I've been a sex therapist for about 5 years now. I've been a licensed professional counselor for 9 years now. Well, no, I've been a counselor for 9 years. I have not been licensed that long. But I've been practicing for 9 years. And so I'm not really good about going on about myself. So when people, when they're ready to chime in, but that's basically the gist of it. I'm a sex therapist and a relationship therapist as well. So I really just kind of cover the gamut of relationship issues.
And sex is a big issue. I always say sexual compatibility is huge. As a matchmaker,
it is.
One of the things that I struggle with is, although I believe sexual compatibility is huge, it's hard for me to assess if two people will be sexual compatible. Oh, wait, stop the presses. I forgot to say that we are on Instinct Radio, and they are the award-winning radio station. They have won the Internet radio show of the year, radio station of the year. So give it up to Instinct Radio. I'm so blessed to be here.
Congratulations, Instinct Radio.
And to be a part of Instinct Radio, because they have given me a great platform to share my middle-class matchmaker business and conversations with Cupid with so many people. So thank you again, and congratulations to Instinct Radio. But back to you.
Okay.
One of the things as a matchmaker, it's hard for me to assess sexual compatibility, right? Mm-hmm. Because people lie. Mm-hmm. I can ask questions about, what's your, how often do you want to have sex? And you might tell me every day. Mm-hmm. And then you might get in a relationship and only want it once a week. I mean, so it's really hard for me to assess how sexually compatible two people will be. A lot of people say I have a very high sex drive, and they don't. Or I'm very open sexually, and they're not.
To try anything,
and they're not. Right. That happens all the time. Mm-hmm. And some people, especially if they're not sexually active, it's really hard to assess, because they will tell you, some people will tell you, I'm very sexual. And it's like, well, how can you gauge that?
If you've never had sex.
You've never had sex,
or it's been years.
You haven't had sex in 15 years. So how can you say that you're very sexual and you know that you're going to be great when you get in that relationship, when you're out of practice? So I don't know. I'm not a sex therapist. So that's one reason why I wanted to have you on, because you will also give me some insight as I'm coaching people, dating coaching. So definitely, I know that we have a lot to cover, but I want to talk to you about sexual compatibility, because I always say it's huge in relationships.
It is huge. It can make or break a relationship, but there is room for growth if two people are willing to learn each other and are willing to accommodate each other at least halfway. I think it's unrealistic for us to expect that all of our needs will be met with one partner. Right. So for the people who are in monogamous relationships, there may be some things that you want to do sexually that your partner is just not willing to do, but there are other things that they are willing to accommodate.
That won't make you sexually incompatible if let's say he wants a threesome, because this is very common. A lot of men want threesomes. He wants a threesome. You're like absolutely opposed to it.
Right.
And he's not going to cheat on you. He's like, okay, well, it's something I always want to do. You're not going to do it.
If it's not a deal breaker, and we have to be honest about our deal breakers. If it's not a deal breaker, if it's something that you would appreciate experiencing, but it's not something that you absolutely have to have in your relationship, let it go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what makes two people sexually compatible? Like, what does that mean?
What that means is that when you have sex with each other, you honestly, thoroughly enjoy the sex that you're having. So that, to me, in and of itself, is sexual compatibility. Now, how you gauge that, I have an activity that I do in my practice where I have a questionnaire of different sexual experiences and different sexual scenarios, if you will, and I have them rate their interest from 1, which is not interested at all, to 5, which is I'm down, I'm willing to try it, or I have tried it and I enjoyed it. And so we kind of play a little game where they'll read the scenario and they'll hold up their number, and then we kind of process that together. Well, what makes that a 3 for you, or what makes that a 5? And then you can kind of, from that activity, get a gist understanding of, okay, this person is not even willing to try the things that I'm interested in, or this person has some interest, maybe wants a little more education, or, surprisingly, I thought that they wouldn't be interested in this at all, and they've done this.
Right.
So you kind of have a way to filter out what they like and what they don't like.
The thing for me, when I talk about sexual compatibility, one of the reasons why I say it's hard to gauge is because I'm dealing with people I'm dealing with 2 single people. They've not been together yet. And I don't know if they will fit together, meaning size. If it's too big or too small, I can't gauge that.
Right.
And I won't know that by looking at you and looking at him if that's going to be a fit.
Yeah, so size isn't something that I can necessarily gauge in my practice.
Right.
I don't get to look at things.
I don't either.
Yes, I don't.
I tell people, please don't send me anything. I don't want to know.
I can't accept any pics, and I'm certainly not asking people to undress themselves so we can see. But that's something that they can do behind closed doors. But you're right. If you are not sexually active at the moment, or haven't been sexually active in years or never, it is really difficult to know and understand yourself sexually, your partner sexually, what you guys are going to enjoy when you come together. And there's really no way to know that until you just allow yourself to get into the thick of it. Get into the throes and just let yourself experience the pleasure.
But it can, to your point, break a relationship. I've been in a relationship where we have been incompatible, and men hate it when you tell them that. But I'm the type of person, you know, I'm a Capricorn. We both Capricorns.
Yes, so
we're going to tell you,
yes.
listen, we're not sexually compatible. And if I tell you
This
that,
isn't working.
it's a wrap. There's nothing you can do at that point. That's how I see it. It's like, we just don't fit. And so for whatever reason, it could be the size, it could be you lack stamina, it could be your sex drive and mine aren't a match, it could be skill. You don't have the skill that I require.
Yeah.
If any
technique,
of those things,
I don't like your technique.
Right, and
So-
you're not open to my feedback when I try to
Right.
tell you what I like. Some men are
Right.
like, you don't get to tell me.
So that's a problem. I am a huge proponent of what I say pleasure orientation. And what I
Okay.
mean by that is don't think that you can just come in here and start throwing stuff around. You're new here. I'm assuming that this is a new relationship or a new sexual relationship. You're new here. You don't know your way around. You don't know what I like. You don't know what I dislike. So what I like to tell couples to do is to start slow and build from there. Start slow with the pace. Start slow and gentle with the pressure, and then eventually
I like
build
that.
up. And you have to be open to feedback because what I hate is overgeneralized gendered
Yes,
advice.
yes.
Women like this, men like this. That's bull.
Everybody's different.
Right. There are no two people are alike. Everybody likes something different.
Right.
So the experience that you had with a couple of partners before the one you're with now that worked for them may not work with the person you're with now.
Absolutely.
And so if you want that relationship to work sexually, you have to be open to feedback.
Absolutely. So many people are not open to feedback. And that men and women can be offended when you say, do it like this. I don't like it like that. And I find the best lovers are the best listeners. If they can listen to you and go, oh, she likes this, and oh, she don't like it like that, or let me try this, or be more open to feedback, because you should want to please your partner. You want to get it right, right? Not, I know everything. I've been, I'm so experienced. I don't need you to tell me.
My favorite one, I've never had any complaints.
That don't mean anything.
That don't mean nothing.
Because women we hardly tell you that it's not good.
Right.
So let me tell you, dudes, just because a woman hasn't told you it's not good, that
doesn't mean you're the bomb.
No, because we oftentimes will tell each other, girl, oh my God, it was
so
awful.
whack.
But and then we like, did you tell him? No, I didn't tell him anything. I just,
Right.
played it off. She probably won't tell you. It doesn't mean it's great.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's great. So that's great advice. Let's see what some of our listeners are saying, because I know they are chiming in on this
Okay.
subject. Sorry. All right. So, all right. Darnell said, is she thick, though? Who you talking about? Okay, hold on. First of all, let me let y'all know. Mikaela is taken. I have to tell you that.
Married.
She's happily married. And this is different because I never have married people on my show.
Okay.
My show is really just for singles, but I don't know a single sex therapist. So
Okay.
I know you and my line sister Candace,
Yes.
who is in Kansas, so she can't be here. So she's in Kentucky, so she can't be
And
here.
let me just say this: there are quite a few single sex therapists
Okay, I just don't know.
in Atlanta, and being married does not necessarily mean that you know all about sex. So if you are seeking a sex therapist and you don't want to come on my couch, but you see someone and they are single, that doesn't necessarily mean that they are less competent than someone who's married. I just want to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, it doesn't mean anything
Right.
because what's working for you in your relationship, just because you can make that work doesn't mean you can help other people make it work, right? So the qualification of being a sex therapist is enough,
Right.
whether you're married or not.
Right.
Okay. Let's see what our comments are so far. So we have here Anthony Thompson. She is cute.
Thank you, Anthony Thompson.
I've not said a word because I was turning my iPhone upside down trying to get her to stand up. Lord have mercy. So hopefully I've cleared this up.
Who did that?
I know. I should have said that first, to be honest, because they're used to everybody on my show is typically
It's
single.
single,
So I
okay.
should have said that first. But I don't want them to tune out because I said that.
No,
She's
don't
taken,
tune out.
So
Stay with us.
Yes, please say this is good information. All right. So we just said women will probably not tell you that the sex is bad.
Right.
What are some ways that you will know the sex is bad?
If I'm the giver or the receiver? The
Either
giver?
just give us both.
Okay, well, if you're the giver, and I'm just going to assume heterosexual relationships
Yes,
right now.
yes,
If
yes.
I'm the giver, if I'm quiet, if your partner is quiet and you're not getting a lot of vocal feedback from them, that could be, not always, but it could be an indication that they're not enjoying themselves. Usually if someone is enjoying themselves sexually, there's some sort of vocal feedback that they'll give you. It's a moan or a little, talking dirty or a little something to let you know that they're into it. So if it's a quiet session, that could
absolutely
be,
nothing, like no sound.
Crickets. Then that could be an indication that your partner is not enjoying themselves. Also, if your partner is wincing or flinching and they haven't told you ahead of time that they enjoy pain, it could be an indication that they're not enjoying sex. If they're tensing up, if they're pushing away from you, or if they're kind of, guarding themselves as if they're anticipating pain, that's an indication that they don't like pain, and so they don't like the sex that they're having right now.
Right, okay. And then what happens with a lot of singles is you just don't hear from them again.
Right.
If we had sex one time and you try to call tomorrow and you get dial tone,
especially, and I try not to make, like I said, gendered generalizations, but especially if it's a woman.
Yeah, she's
if
just
you
not
reach
gonna...
out to the woman and she is not responding after you guys had sex, that's a good indication that maybe she didn't.
I've done that before, and a lot of times. And I know you don't want to make a generalization, but a lot of times men, from my experience, they take that as a challenge. Oh, we just need to do it again.
Right.
I was tired. I had just worked 2 shifts, and I was just tired. We just need to do it again.
And to their credit, they could be right, Shay.
It could be,
because
but
the thing is...
thing
is, a lot of first encounters are awkward. Like I said, you didn't have the orientation, so they didn't know going in what you like, what you don't like, so they just did what they know how to do or what they thought you would like.
Correct, but some things can't be fixed. So
size,
that can't be fixed. No. And basic skills. So let's talk about basic skills, because I feel like if you're in your 30s or 40s and you're dating in this dating scene, you should come with some basic skills, some things foundational that you should have learned in college.
Basic
your 20s.
Skills like what?
Basic skills that I shouldn't have to tell you. Okay, when you kiss me, don't put your face over my face. Don't cover my face with your face.
Mouth, with your mouth.
No, don't lick my whole face.
Okay.
Okay, when we kissing. That's a basic skill. You should learn how to kiss at 15. You don't know how to kiss at this point. I don't know.
But what if the partner that he was with before you, he was in that relationship for several years.
He needs to call her back.
And she liked her face licked all over.
He need to call her back.
Right. But you could have just told him. You could have showed him, Shay.
I could have. But
Slow
see, to
down
me, that's a basic
and
thing.
kiss me this way.
Mm-hmm. Yes, to me, that's a basic skill.
Yeah.
That's like, do you know your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s before you come to school?
It sounds like you don't want to do any training.
I will do some. I will do some. I don't like it like that. Try it like this. But basic skills, I feel like you need to have.
All over here. That's
that
too much.
You need to have that.
Okay.
I also feel like a basic skill to me is you need to know how to perform oral sex.
Okay.
At this point, at 30s, approaching 40s, in your 40s, this should not be your first time doing this.
Well, let me tell you why I disagree with that.
Okay, please.
Because like I said, no two women are alike.
Okay.
So what he has been doing before with other women may have been working. And it's not working with you because you like a different kind of pleasure. You like a different kind of sensation. You like a different kind of intensity. You like a different level of pressure. You like a different rhythm.
Okay. All right. I'll give you that then.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you one time. Don't bite me.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you one time. Do it like this, not like that. And if you continue, that's gonna be the last shot, homeboy.
Okay. I'll give you that.
Yes,
I will give you.
You gotta listen, because to me, I feel like that's a very sensitive area, and I'm not. I'm not gonna be playing pity pat with you at this point in our lives.
Yeah, I mean, there are now. Granted, to your credit, there are some men and women alike who are not skilled in the oral sex area. They just haven't done it before. They don't really enjoy it, so that when they do it, there's this perfunctory that they bring. But
I think you should tell somebody. Okay, if you are limited in that, because I think a basic assumption is by this point in our lives, you should know what you're doing. If you don't, you need to let somebody know.
I'm not.
Listen, this is really like my first or second time doing this, like straight up. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm gonna need you to tell me what to do. Then I already come in knowing. All right, this is a training session.
Right, or this is just not going to happen.
Right.
Right.
Give me that opportunity. But please don't big yourself up like you have experience.
You
a pro with
girl.
it.
Let me show you what you want.
Girl, they do. And it be those ones that big themselves up, that they the pros, that you just like, look, homeboy, I'm going to just stop you right here. Mid-stroke, mid-lick, mid-whatever. You need to get up and go.
Okay. Wow.
I'm just telling you.
Cutthroat go.
Let's see what everybody else is saying. All right, so we've got Curtis. He says, I think it's important to not go into the bedroom with a list of demands, what you got to do for me, and go in with an open mind and a willingness to please. I'm a giver, and it pleases me to see the woman pleasurized. Or did you mean pleasured? But okay.
That's okay.
We get it.
We can use pleasurized.
We're gonna use pleasurized today. Mm-hmm. All right. Maya says, I have heard that, and I have no complaints. I don't know why men think women complain like that if they are not good, especially if she likes them. A lot of times when we like you, we may not share that we're not pleased.
And it
not
uncommon for women to fake
pleasure.
We
fake it all the time.
To fake orgasms, to fake moans, to fake things, because we know your ego needs that. And so we will give you that, and we will forego our own pleasure. And so I'm here to say right now, women out there, if you are doing that, if you are faking pleasure, if you are faking orgasms, knock it off. Because you are selling yourself
You're doing yourself a disservice.
Short.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I have a friend who's been married 20 years and has never had an orgasm ever in life. Not with a toy, not with her husband, not ever in life. And that to me is so sad. It's so depressing. Did you know that we're able to come, well, you probably already know, we're able to come multiple, like 11, 12 different ways. And you haven't experienced one of those? Not one?
I would be interested to know what her psychological blocks are for sex.
Well, she just says that she performs sex with her husband out of obligation. It's not out of pleasure. She doesn't get any pleasure from it. They have sex because she's his wife. They have children. She doesn't get anything from it.
So if they were my clients and they were on my couch, I would want to know, if they have sex, is it ever the kind of sex that she thinks she enjoys, or is it always phallocentric? What I mean, is it always about his pleasure? Is it what he does, what he suggests that they do? Is it always centered around what he likes? Does he ever take the time to explore her body?
Obviously not. Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I don't want to say obviously, because there is such a thing as asexuality.
Well, yeah, I'm saying, just from talking to her, I don't think she's asexual. I think she doesn't know. She doesn't know what she likes, and I don't think he's trying to figure out what she likes.
Okay.
He may even not know. He may not even be aware that she's never orgasmed because she's never told him. She just shared it with me. Okay. She's never experienced orgasm, and they've been married 20 years. All right. Andrea's how we
Hey, Andrea.
She's how we met, actually, because you're
Drea.
her friend. You're her friend, and I'm her friend, and we met at one of her vision board.
We did a vision board party a few years ago. So if you need a vision board for anything, you want to hire Andrea Holyfield.
Yes, definitely.
But yeah, so that's where we met. Even though I remember her from
She
Clark.
remembers me from seeing you. We gonna act like I remember though. But I did remember. You were like, "Do you remember me?" I'm like,
I think you were a couple classes ahead.
I'm
of me.
a little.
So I was just a little freshman walking around.
And I was an orientation guy, so I probably like saw you or whatever, but I just I forgot. I'm old, girl. Let it go.
It's okay.
So I know you now. I know you now, though. Okay, so she says, are men comfortable talking about sex with an attractive sex therapist?
So usually they are, and they may not be at first, but they open up. And I'll tell them, when they come into the consultation, one of the things that I stress is this is not going to go anywhere, and you're going to waste your time and your money if you're not honest. So you got to come in here and be able to divulge what is wrong with your relationship, what's wrong with your sex life, and what do you think the issue is, and then let me help you help yourself.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for the most part, they are. Now, whether or not women who are partnered are comfortable with that's been an issue from time to time.
So a couple comes to you, the wife sees, oh, this is who our sex therapist is.
Especially if infidelity is at
He's
play.
Cheated, so I don't know if I'm comfortable.
She looked like Becky with the good hair that he stepped out with, and so I don't want to be bothered with her either.
So you're so they just judge you.
Yeah, and I don't have good hair, but
you're so silly, girl.
But yeah, they will. that has happened a couple of times where I've gotten an email and,
I'm just not comfortable
the
with
husband
you.
will reach out and say that the wife just did not feel comfortable with you. We're going to look for someone older, or we're going to look for
less attractive. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. So you get prejudged.
Yeah, but I understand. If I'm bringing up triggers for you, then you don't need to sit on my couch. Probably, you need to go work that out with somebody who's not triggering you.
That's interesting. Ken Collier says, kissing is essential and hard for me to enjoy if you can't kiss.
Go Ken.
Anthony says, if you are limited, you just need to find someone to practice with. Jeremy says, and everybody doesn't like the same things. Mm-hmm. He says, so the feedback is useless. Yeah, we don't always let you know.
Right.
Charles says, dang, Shay, cutthroat, get up and go. I honestly, let me say I haven't experienced that very much, but I am the type of person, I'm going to tell you, this is not working. We're not sexually compatible. Now, I'm not one of those women that's going to just, let's just keep going. And I'm not going to say anything. That's not going to work for me. I'm going to let you know. But sexual compatibility is very high for me. Mm-hmm. And honestly, in my last relationship, we were not compatible sexually. Okay. Our drives did not match. And so when I got my man, we're very compatible. And that's really a great plus for me in our relationship, is that we're so compatible. It helps us because, like you said, it can make or break. There are times we're having like major arguments, right? And because we're so sexually compatible, he could start doing something or say something, or I could take something off, and we forgot what we were arguing about. Next thing you know, we smiling, laughing, and skipping and hopping, and it's going on. But that helps, right? Mm-hmm. If you don't have that, you can't do that. Right. What do you do in that situation? Get out. I'm sick of you. And you can't snap back.
Well, it just depends on how you prioritize sex in your relationship. Every relationship does not prioritize sex that high. And sometimes there's a mismatch where you have one partner where this is extremely important to me, and then you'll have another partner where they're like, I can take it or leave it kind of thing, or I want it, but just not the way you do or how often you do. So they will pull on other things, or they'll rely on other things to keep their relationship intact, their friendship, their romance, their partnership on whatever it is, the goal that they have set for each other that they're working towards in their partnership, or not, or sometimes
it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah. And a lot of times I think women are made to feel, and I know you don't like generalizations, but I'm just speaking from a woman who's experienced this. Mm-hmm. Women are made to feel bad if they have a high sex drive. They're made to feel bad for expressing it. And if they share it with a man who does not have an equally high sex drive, he will make them feel bad. He will say, oh, you're a nympho, something's wrong. I've experienced that.
No, that
something's
is
wrong
true.
with you.
And those are the kind of generalizations I don't mind, because that has been proven. We know that that's true, that women are not given permission to be as sexual as men. Women are not given social permission to experiment. They're not given social permission to have multiple partners at one time the way men are. There's a lot of restrictions on women's sexuality that men don't have to endure.
Absolutely.
And I think that we bring that to our relationships.
Yeah. And to your point, we have to, we're not open socially at being sexually liberated as women. Like, to be sexually liberated is like, you a hoe, or
and I cannot stand that word. And so let me just tell you about the kind of sex therapist I am. I am a sex therapist, but I would call myself a sexual feminist. And what I mean by that is that I think that I believe in equal opportunity for sexual pleasure for all genders, men, women, trans, whatever, what have you. And so a lot of what I feel like is associated with rape culture or sexual repression culture, I really feel like it is part of my professional mission to rid society of those things.
What's sexual repression culture? I haven't heard that.
Sexual repression culture is exactly what we just talked about, where women are expected to be chaste. Women are expected to be virgins and to have, if she's showing a little bit of sexual prowess, it's only with you. It's not because she's experienced and because she's been out there with other partners and she's developed a sexual skill set. It's because she just loves you so much, this one man. So it's not accepted. And so, women are out here sort of, if you enjoy sex and you want to express yourself sexually and you want to experiment sexually, you kind of have to walk a thin line, or you got to keep it a secret, and you don't want a whole lot of people to know about that because of the backlash that you get.
Yes. I think that is so critical because Tamara said the other day, she said that men want an experienced virgin.
I read that.
Yes. And it's so, I tagged her on your post. It is so critical because they do oftentimes, not all men, but a lot of them want her to be virginal, haven't had many experiences, haven't had many partners.
And then when she gets with you, magically she
knows what to do.
Yeah,
but it didn't come from practice with anybody else.
Just you.
Right. And I don't know what that is. You know, I don't. But it's like they get that they want this virginal chaste woman, but they cheat on her with this loose side chick, floozy woman, but they want their wife to be this, nobody's touched her, but you're gonna cheat on her because she's not pleasing you. I don't understand, why would you not marry somebody who's pleasing you?
And so
versus
I don't know if that's because of the Madonna whore complex that a lot of people have, and women will sometimes experience cognitive dissonance with that, and they'll have a Madonna whore dichotomy in themselves. But what I mean by that is there's this expectation that, the woman that you respect, the one that you admire, the one that you want to marry, presents herself as pure and chaste and ladylike, and but then there's this whore complex, and those two things are not supposed to coexist within one body.
And they don't. Typically, they separate them.
Right.
They want their wife to be this virginal person in the church all day covered up, and they sleep around with this person who's down for whatever, and you know,
or they expect this of their wife until they say I do, and then all of a sudden she's supposed to change, and when she doesn't, then it's like, well, I'm not getting what I need, so let me go find it elsewhere.
It's crazy. And women can do it too, because I think on the opposite end, you want the playboy. You don't want the guy who's virginal. You don't want the guy who's, that's not the guy you want. You want this playboy who's been with 11 women, but then all of a sudden y'all get married and he's got to cut all that off. He's supposed to be at home every day cooking and cleaning, whatever.
Right.
It's this crazy thing that we have, our expectations don't match with reality.
But where do you think that comes from?
The church, a lot of times.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I don't want to step on anybody's toes.
Yes.
But I do think the church a lot of times perpetuates this thought.
And just if you think about it, like, Western culture in general, women were tradable commodities. They were not human beings. They did not have their own will. They did not have their own autonomy. They did not have their own goals. They did not have their own experiences. They did not belong to themselves. And I think we're still fighting off some of the chains of patriarchy. When I say patriarchy, I mean the extreme patriarchy, where we talk about women as things and not human beings.
Absolutely. And that's still prevalent, unfortunately, even though that was hundreds of years ago. We're still sort of crawling out of that tunnel, and women are trying to fight for their right. When you saw Amber Rose, and she was having that whole slut walk thing, I really didn't get that. So let me tell you, I'm sexually liberated, but I'm not walking in the slut walk. Like, to me, I'm not that far. So
I think what she was trying to do was empower that word, when really I would just rather we just get rid of it altogether.
Why do I want to refer to myself as a slut or refer to you as a slut? I don't want that. I don't want to resurrect that and say it's positive.
But I think what lends itself to rape culture is this idea that women do not have sexual autonomy. So we don't get to... there's a difference between going home with someone that night and then you go home. And I think I saw this on television. Somebody said it so eloquently, where you have this walk of shame, where all of a sudden you're supposed to be ashamed of yourself because you decided that you were going to go home with someone and experience sex. And she was like, it's not the walk of shame, it's the stride of pride. Be proud that you got yourself some.
And my sexual liberation would say, then you shouldn't be ashamed at all. I mean, have you got your little bag in the trunk, you pull it out, you put your clothes on, you change, you go to work and be happy at work. Hey, y'all, coming to work, like, what's up?
The slut walk was basically, Amber, I believe, my interpretation of what she was trying to do was basically address rape culture by saying it doesn't matter what a woman wears, it doesn't matter what she has on or what she does not have on, it doesn't matter what she says to you, it doesn't matter any of that. Her body is her own. And so she has the right to have sex. She has the right to decline at any moment, at any time during the engagement.
Oh, yeah, and I agree with all of that.
Right, but you just don't like the word slut.
No, I don't like the word slut, and I'm not going to go too far to say, like, I will tell my ladies, when you go on a date, there is an appropriate way to dress. I'm not going to go too far to say, oh, yeah, show up with a thong on if you want to, and he shouldn't look at you sexual. No, I'm not going to go that far.
Well, I don't think there's anything wrong with... If you choose to show up with a thong on,
and that's it, a thong and a bra,
I'm going to assume that you wanted me to see that your ass. Okay? But just because I want you to see my ass does not mean I want you to touch it.
But I would say to my clientele is a different caliber. We're talking single professionals. I would say, don't wear that on the date, because he wants to get to know you, and he doesn't need to be focused on your body. And I don't consider myself a feminist, but I am open-minded, sexually open. And I would say that's two different things. Like, I think when I'm trying to get to know you and see if you'd be a potential husband, that's not the time that I'm going to show up half naked, to talk to you about a date. So to me, I would say it's two different things.
Most of us have not been socialized rather, to sit across from someone who's half naked and not focus on what we see as opposed to what we hear.
Absolutely.
That's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
That's the truth.
But as far as me saying that I agree with coaching women to wear certain things or not wear certain things, I mean, basically show up and be yourself is what I would say. If it was my client, show up and be yourself. And if it's not received the way you want it to be received,
he's not the right one.
He's not the right one, and vice versa.
So this is separate. But I typically coach my ladies to be successful. I want you to be successful, and I want him to be successful as well. So I probably would give a little bit different advice from that. But to your point, yeah, I'm all aboard with the whole rape culture thing, and I do think sexual repression is preached a lot in the church.
Yes.
That we shouldn't be so sexual. And I remember growing up in the church and having sexual thoughts and repenting every time I had a sexual thought. I'm, oh God, forgive me. Oh God, forgive me. And I'm thinking the devil is attacking me because but what I realize is, the devil was not attacking my mind. I'm a sexual person, and that's
human
okay.
Being, and sexuality is such a huge and natural part of our being. The way we live, the way we procreate, the way we connect with other people that we're romantically interested in, centers around sex. It is natural. It is normal, and it is frustrating for me as a sex therapist to know that it has been so highly vilified.
Oh, absolutely.
And at the same time, you're supposed to sit across from me, and I'm supposed to help you reconcile these two very different ideologies. Well, one, you're human, and then one, you're supposed to be superhuman, or you're supposed to be super spiritual. And
they go together a lot of times. Sexuality, spirituality, they really go together. And when you have, y'all, this is the gospel truth. When you have true sexual compatibility with a person, you really see how spirituality and sexuality combine. When you feel like, it's like you reach nirvana, it's a spiritual experience. Like, oh my God, this is possible. This is really possible.
It's actually possible to have that with yourself. I'm not a tantric teacher or a tantric practitioner. That I'm embarking on learning more about
my girl
Amina,
I introduced you to her. She is a tantric sex therapist.
But I mean, there are ways, if you're into that, or if you want to know more about that, I would highly recommend that you look into tantra, or look into tantric sex, because tantra is not sex, but there is tantric sex, just like there's tantric yoga and there's tantric lifestyles. But you can have tantric sex with yourself and with your partner, and you will experience something mind-blowing, something out of this world.
Yes, absolutely. All right, so let's get to our questions. Okay, you had a question.
Yes, I want to know.
Is your mic on?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I wanted to know, what advice do you have for the ladies who don't have that sexual liberation, like they're trying to find it? Because there's so many of them out there, not us, because I ain't one of them, but so many of them out there that want to experience an orgasm or want to be free, and they just don't know how. So
that's a great question. Yes.
As far as losing your inhibitions, that's a decision that you have to make, that you have to allow yourself to be confident enough within yourself to say, I'm going to go out here and I'm going to show up authentically, and I'm going to, be a sexual being, and I'm not going to allow other people to dictate the way I should operate or the way I should present myself. But as far as if you're talking about how do I discover myself, how do I know what I like, how am I able to liberate the sexual repression inside of me so that I can communicate that to my partner, there are a lot of ways, but self-discovery is probably the most important. There is a program that I'm really excited about called OMG Yes. And there is a link on my website. If you go to www.rwcatlanta.com, you should see somewhere on the page there's a link for OMG Yes. And OMG Yes is basically a program based on research that has been done about women's pleasure. And that's huge because there has not been, for the longest time, research that has been conducted that is focused specifically on women's pleasure. But there are 12 episodes, and you have these real women who are basically giving you videos of their experience and what they like, and it talks about signaling, it talks about edging, it talks about a lot of different things that you can experience, and they show women doing this to themselves. And then there's another tutorial video that you click on where it helps you discover yourself. So I would highly recommend OMG Yes for any women out there who do not know exactly what it is that they like and don't know how to express that to their partners. It's $29 for 12 episodes, and I have some giveaways, so we can talk about that later. So stay tuned for that because I do have a few giveaways.
And I think that's a great question because let's talk about sexual repression. I say it and some people get offended by it, but will you please define it? What is sexual repression?
Sexual repression to me is either internal or external expectations for chastity. And so you basically are taking all of your sexual emotions, all of your fantasies, anything that could be sexual pleasurable, and you bury that inside of you and you don't allow yourself to express it just on a daily or with a partner.
And I've experienced that because I was heavily involved in a particular church a couple churches that totally preach like you should wait till you get married. No offense to anybody who believes that, but for me, it made me sexually repressed.
Yeah.
And it made me feel guilty for being sexual. It made me feel guilty for my sexual thoughts. It made me feel guilty. And I was constantly like repenting because I want to please God and I have these thoughts. God, forgive me for my thoughts and whatever. And it made me sexually repressed. So when I broke away from that, I was like, this is not me. I don't want any parts of it.
Yes.
I'm going to be free and I'm going to express myself. And that doesn't mean I'm out here, loosey-goosey with whomever. That's not what I choose to do.
It sounds like you've acknowledged that sex is natural.
Sex is natural, and I'm going to enjoy it, and I do enjoy it, and I'm okay sharing that I enjoy it. That's what works for me. And I'm not going to shame anybody who also feels that way.
No, if you feel convicted by your moral compass or your religious expectations, then certainly, by all means, allow that to be your guide. But what I think a lot of people don't understand or they don't consider is that in biblical times, people were getting married around puberty, sometimes prepubescent. So we're talking about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old.
Nobody was 30-something
without
being
married. So to be
married.
out here 20-something, 30-something, still saving yourself for marriage, to me is cruel and unusual punishment.
It was cruel. I tried it. Listen, it wasn't for me. Listen, I tried it. I promise you, I gave it people who knew me know I tried to be celibate.
Yes.
I did. I ran myself crazy. It didn't work for me.
It didn't work for me either. And I remember I had like a little breakdown. I had a moment because I wanted to please God and I wanted to, but I was getting up there in age and,
Listen, and there is no guilt or shame in it. So I just wanted to share, but can you be a virgin and not be sexually repressed? Let's say you're 40 years old, you've never had sex. That doesn't mean that you're sexually repressed because you've never.
It doesn't necessarily mean, to me, okay, so to be more clear, I think sexual repression is when you are constantly fighting back your sexual urges or your sexual fantasies. I think a lot of people in the LGBT community experience some sexual repression because they're fighting this internal battle where, they're trying to figure out how they identify with their sexual orientation, but then on the one end you have a group of people or a church or something that's telling you that this is not how you're supposed to be.
Okay.
That would be sexual repression. So another form of sexual repression is exactly what you said, what we get from the church, where people are telling us via scripture or via the Bible that we're not supposed to have sex, we're not supposed to enjoy it, but we have these urges and we're trying to fight them. But if you are 40 years old and you are single and a virgin and proud of it and
Amen.
That's fine with you, then honey, rock
But because I met people who have been abused, either molested or raped, and I've experienced that too. You go through a period where you don't want anybody to touch you, and I experienced that before, but I actually went to counseling and talked through that. But maybe they haven't done that. and they have no desire for sex whatsoever. After being abused, they have no desire for sex whatsoever.
So I wouldn't necessarily consider that sexual repression.
What would you call that?
I would call that trauma.
That's trauma.
That's sexual trauma. If you've been abused and you have, as a result of that, or post your traumatic experience, you have no sexual desire, you have no sexual arousal, you have absolutely no intention of engaging sexually with anyone else, you can take it or leave it, and that's fine with you, or you would prefer to leave it. Then to me that sounds like trauma. That sounds like unresolved trauma, and please, by all means, find a therapist that you trust, somebody that you feel comfortable with, and process that, get past that, so that hopefully you can connect with a partner. Because if you're a 40-year-old virgin and you've experienced some sort of trauma, and so as a result you have no sexual desire, no fantasies, no urges whatsoever, that will be problematic in your relationship.
At some point, I mean, because I don't know, unless you marry somebody who's just like you, I don't know too many men who's going to be down for it.
I don't either.
Unless you marry somebody who's just like you.
Or you can find, I'm sure, I don't know whether or not this exists. Maybe this is something that I should know, so I should Google it. But there may be some asexual matchmaking sites.
What is asexual? No, I don't. Let me tell you, I don't match people like that. But what is asexual? Let's talk about that.
Asexual is someone who has no sexual desire, no sexual arousal, at least most of the time, if not all of the time.
They're just not aroused. So then you can have a porn flick going on, so two people over here having an orgy, whatever, and it's just nothing.
Yeah, I just have no desire to have sex, and I'm okay with that. I would not classify somebody who's experienced trauma
as asexual, right?
But they could.
Are there lots of asexual people?
There are quite a few. Probably not as many, obviously, as
sexual people
are sexual, but
they exist.
It's a thing. I'll just say that it is a thing. It needs to be respected.
All right, let me say it again. That my guest Mikaela is married, guys. So y'all, please focus on the topic, because yes, she is gorgeous. She's beautiful. She's cute. You. She's all of that, but she's married.
I'm also married.
So sorry to disappoint. She is married. Hold your hand up, girl, just so they can see. She is married. She is taken. I met her husband. He's so sweet. But anyway, okay.
Okay.
So Tara says, I agree with you, Shay. I feel like my celibacy is an important part of my covenant with God. It is definitely a struggle at times. And I'm not going to speak on that because, y'all know I'm not celibate and I don't believe that. But if that's what you believe, amen. I'm not going to speak on it. I'm just going to say, that I don't feel that God loves me less. And I don't feel that I'm not blessed because I have sex.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to say that part. That's all I'm going to say. You have to do what you feel is right, and you have to do what you feel God has called you to do. I'm not going to tell you don't do that. I don't match people who are celibate. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
The reason why I don't purposely match somebody. If you come to me as a client and you tell me I am not having sex till I get married, if I know that, I'm probably not going to match you. Why? Because I don't have a database full of men who are celibate.
Who are willing to
I know one guy who is a virgin. I know a couple guys. I probably know 2 or 3 guys who are, waiting until marriage. But most people in my database are having sex or want to have sex and are not willing to wait till marriage. So
in my mid-20s, I had a boyfriend who was a minister, sat up there on the stage with the pastors and everybody else. And honey, okay.
Y'all were getting it in.
Okay.
See, and listen, I've dated ministers too. So let me say amen.
Okay.
I just want to say that I don't know, and no offense to anyone, I don't know if it's fair. If I have decided personally that I am not going to engage in this activity, but you are engaging in that activity, I don't know how fair it is to ask you to stop. So
I don't think that's fair at all.
This is just me saying I don't know if it's fair. So because I don't know if it's fair, and because the majority of my database are not that way, I focus on them.
Right.
Do I have people who I have a couple right now? They're getting married next month, and they decided to wait till marriage, and I think that's beautiful.
Well,
I support that.
I
support that. Yes, I support that, and I applaud that. I'm telling you that I don't purposely
match people. No,
I don't purposely
do
that.
That's good to know because I had a couple people in mind that I know now. I don't need to send to you.
Don't.
Okay.
No, but I don't have a shortage of women who are not having sex, girl. I got plenty of them.
Okay.
So I don't need any more of them.
It's the men
I don't have any celibate men.
Have sex so we can match these women. Celibate women need love too.
I don't have a shortage of celibate women. I have a shortage of celibate men. I mean, most of these men are getting it in.
And, but that again is what I'm talking about with the social permission.
Yes.
It's okay for men.
Yes.
It's okay for them to be like, well, I know I'm the covenant God, I get that, but listen, I'm a man.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, y'all, give us your questions. Y'all call in to 478-569-6474 or send a text. If you don't want to call, you can send a text to 478-569-6474. I also know that Mikaela has some prizes, so my first caller will get a prize. Make sure you call in 478-569-6474. You have a question as well.
Sure do.
Okay.
I have a question on the flip side of that trauma, because some women go through trauma and they don't want to be touched, but then you have those women who become overtly sexual and they don't know how to cut it off.
That's a great question.
They just, they do it because they feel obligated, and they don't tell men no because, well, this man raped me and this happened, so in order to avoid all of that, I'm just going to do it and get it over with.
That's so sad.
Yeah,
but it happens a lot. Oprah talked about that when after she had been molested, she became very promiscuous. So there are two sides to that.
So there is some data that suggests that age may be a factor. So for some women, and it's not a blanket statement by any means, but for some women, if you were molested at the age of 10 or older, you're more likely to experience sexual promiscuity. But if you were 10 or younger and you experienced the trauma, then you're more likely to be hyposexual. So there is some data that supports the reasoning behind that,
and that makes sense if you think about it.
If it's something that bothers them, like what you just said, I don't want to be raped, so I'm gonna just give it up. That breaks my heart to hear that.
Is sad.
And I would definitely want that woman to come to some therapist, if not me, then someone else. And
why not you? They should come to you. They looking at you.
I want y'all to come to me, but also
she wants you to come to her. That's right. Get it. So listen. What about women who let's talk about this with men. Because I have experienced this with a guy who shared this with me. He was raped. He was raped or molested by a man, and he struggled for a period of time with his sexuality, and he did engage in same-sex activities during that time. And he finds it hard to date because now he's realized he's not gay. But in order to tell you that, he's got to tell you this whole story. I'm not gay. I realize I'm not gay, but yes, I have slept with men. Yes, I have been molested. Yes, I have experienced these things. That's very hard for him to navigate dating.
I wish that society in general, but especially our community, was more open and accepting and understanding of the phenomenon of bisexuality. Just because you have experienced a same-sex encounter, but you also experience and enjoy opposite-sex encounters. You like homosexuality, homosexual encounters and heterosexual, then that probably means that you're bisexual. For the client that you're talking about, well, I'm assuming he's a client.
I didn't take him as a client.
Well, I'm imagining that he's sitting on my couch.
He's your client.
Yeah,
all
he's
right.
my client.
Okay.
For him, what has happened is that it sounds like there's a certain aspect of sexuality that has been awakened inside of him now that otherwise would not have been if he had heterosexual.
It's not even his fault, though.
No, it's not his
fault.
fault.
It's like he didn't ask for that. Like this happened. This came upon him literally, and you know what I mean. So I felt so sorry for him. But the reason I didn't take him as a client, and I don't take everybody, the reason I didn't take him is because I know our sisters, and I know
we're not gonna have
no.
And I think that's unfortunate, but. Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of processing to really uncover what's going on. Like, is this something that you're doing impulsively, or are you doing this now because you realize that you enjoy this?
Yeah,
in addition to heterosexuality,
there are
you
different
enjoy
questions.
This too.
Yeah. That's interesting. And no, the thing is, then this goes back to what you were saying earlier. But people are more open to women expressing bisexual tendencies or having had same-sex experiences.
I just had a conversation with someone just yesterday, and they were like, no, I mean, if you have one experience, that means you're gay.
No,
period.
I don't believe that.
No,
I don't
either.
believe that. But that's because we're liberal minded.
Right.
So we can tend to see, that don't mean
he
that.
Was like, that only works for women. That doesn't work for men. And that's unfortunate.
It is unfortunate, but that's the way people think.
That's the way people
and that's the way a lot of brothers think, and that's the way a lot of sisters think. It's just the way people think. If a man has been with a man, he's gay. That's what people think.
Well, can I ask the audience to give me some input as to why are we so black and white when it comes to men's sexuality? Why are we so black and white when it comes to whether or not a man has experienced just one same-sex sexual encounter.
All right, let me see what they're saying. All right. Tashira says church folks get it in too. Yes. Tara says, why does it have to be a double standard for men and women when it comes to sex? Why is it more socially acceptable for men to have multiple sex partners? Shay, there's nothing in the Bible that says God loves you less because you're having sex. However, sin is sin, whether sex, lying, or even being late for work. I say spiritually, it is not condoned, but it's not a sin that God places above the rest. You know, I don't even believe that either. But you know, everybody's free to believe what they want.
Okay.
I don't believe that either. And I think if that's what you believe, then you should not do it. But it's not what I believe, so I do it.
Okay.
Everybody's free to believe what they want and free to, you know, that's a sticky thing for me. I don't want to speak to what your doctrine is or what you truly believe is right or wrong.
And that's something else too, that I'm not here to tell you what to believe and what not to believe. If you are convicted by your spiritual doctrine, if you are, you know, convicted by your moral compass and you feel like this is the right thing for you and it feels right and true,
then go for
you.
Whatever that is. All right. So Tashira says people are quick to label what they don't understand or haven't experienced. I think that is so true. All right. So Mikaela asked a question. If you can ask it again, and she wants y'all to chime in. You can chime in here on Facebook, or you can call us 478-569-6474, or you can text us at 478-569-6474. All right, Mikaela, ask your question again.
My question is, why are we pigeonholing men into homosexuality because they've had one or maybe just a couple same-sex encounters? Maybe they've decided that they didn't like it and they moved on. Or, you know, maybe they are bisexual. Why do you think that bisexuality is impulsive behavior? Because I'm bisexual, then all of a sudden that means that I can't have a monogamous relationship.
I got into so much trouble, as you know, first of the year, for my comment on that topic. All I said was that if a man told me that he had one same-sex experience, if he told me, and I'm looking to date him, all I said was I would date him. I would date him. You said you had one same-sex experience. You found out it's not for you.
Why? I don't know if this is a society thing or if this is a black culture thing, but why is it that we pigeonhole men into homosexuality
and not women? And women can have had. Hold on one second.
Pick me.
Yeah, we will. Hold on one second. Women could have had 5 or 6 same-sex experiences, and they're able to be heterosexual. I've been with women, and I'm heterosexual, and I'm getting married, and I'm having kids, and nobody questions me. I'm able to go on about.
The husband will say, you know, can we
have a threesome? Sure. And I'm still heterosexual.
Right.
And we're able to do that. We're able to explore. We're able to find ourselves sexually and explore and experiment.
When it comes to orientation, let's be clear. When it comes to orientation, we're allowed to be with women if we choose to do that, and then come back and decide we're heterosexual, and nobody questions that.
Nobody cares.
Why do we question that when it comes to men?
It's not the same. Men don't get that playground. They don't get that experimentation period. If you even thought about a man, if you kissed a man, if you even let a man touch you,
if you got a colonic
a bad man, you gay.
Yeah, you gay. Anything went up your butt. That's something else too.
Colonics go.
I'm telling you, there's some men who will refuse to go get that colon cleaned out because that little tube has to go up.
Oh,
but
Lord.
Can we talk about that while we're waiting on people to chime in? Can we talk about anal sex play?
Talk about it, girl, Mikaela.
Stimulating the prostate anally, and a man being a heterosexual man who understands the pleasure in pleasuring the prostate and stimulating the prostate, and you choose to do that with a woman. Why do we think if a man asks us, "Can you do this?" and it has something to do with the behind area, the region, that makes them gay?
I have, and let me say, because I know a lot of women won't admit to this, so you know I don't mind saying I have done that. I have experienced that with men, and it was so much fun. In my 20s, I had like this desire to try that. And I went and got a toy, and I was like, I just want to try it. I want to try it. And I've had 2 men who allowed me to have anal play with them. And it was so much fun. It was so much.
They enjoy it?
They enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. But now whenever I share that, the question is, Was he gay?
He gay?
That's the question I get every time I say that. They had to be gay to let you do that. And a lot of men would want to do it. They would want to do it, but because they're scared that they would get stigmatized as being gay, they won't. They might know that I would get pleasure from if she put her fingers there.
If she orgasm.
Yes.
If I allow myself to try.
And they won't.
Ain't no
I'm thankful to these brothers. Thank you for allowing me to have that experience.
Thank you, brothers.
And they're not gay. They're going on and they're having great relationships with women.
So do we not understand sexual orientation in our community? Do we not understand that what makes someone gay or what makes someone a lesbian is that they have an attraction to the same sex? An attraction. I am sexually attracted to or romantically attracted to someone of the same sex. That makes you a homosexual. But if I'm having a sexual experience with someone of the opposite sex,
then there's no way.
It doesn't matter what region of the body.
No matter
I'm
what we
pleasuring,
do.
it doesn't matter. This is a heterosexual.
Well,
experience.
hold on, Mikaela. Hold on. I have a little caveat.
You got a little bit?
Yeah, because I have a girlfriend.
Okay.
You know, I got all these people in my circle.
Okay.
And her man wanted her to strap on, right? Every night. That's what he wanted. He wanted her to strap on and penetrate his anus. He did not want to have sex with her, like penile vaginally. He only wanted her to strap on and do it to him. And she did. She did it. That's how they had sex. That's what they did. Well, he was gay. He wanted that from her all the time because he was gay.
He was gay. That doesn't necessarily mean that the man who asked you to have some anal play is gay. He happened to be gay. That's his story. That's his experience. That's his orientation. He was lying to himself and consequently lying to her. That's unfortunate. I've been saying that all night. That's unfortunate.
But that's one story.
But that is one story. But that does not necessarily mean that the man who wants you to lick that area or do a little rimming or use a little,
or use your fingers, all of them,
or some sort of a
toy
that vibrates or something like that to stimulate
anal
his
beads.
prostate.
There are all kinds of things.
That.
Yeah.
If he wants to share that with you and he doesn't mind pleasuring you sexually the way you enjoy it, more than likely he's not gay.
There is what is that region called? Like it's right beneath the testicles.
I knew you were going to ask me a question that I didn't have the answer to.
Google it while I'm talking, but
right
under their testicles, before you get to their anus, there's a little space.
I do know
it starts with a P.
Yeah, the
perineal gland. It starts with a P.
That's it.
It's right between the testicles and the anus. There's this little ridge
that you can massage that area, or you can kiss or lick
if
that
you
area.
massage that little area right there, they will have an amazing orgasm. And this is without you sticking a finger. Some men. Well, I don't know. I think that goes back to the G-spot thing, or back to women squirting. Let's talk about that too.
Okay.
Because some women think they can't all squirt. Let's talk about that too, because I know that's a phenomenon. I think they all can be stimulated there if they're open, if they relax, if they allow it. Are you saying that everybody doesn't have that gland and some people do, or?
So every woman is not capable of squirting.
Every woman's not.
No, and the thing about that gland is that it's piss. That's what squirt is. Wait,
stop the press. Wait.
It's urine.
Mikaela said if you squirt, it's pee.
You peed on yourself.
What?
You have sexually stimulated your pelvic region enough to where it is now affecting or pulsating your bladder. And so
squirting is peeing?
It's pee.
Stop it.
It may have a little bit of some different kind of fluid in there, mixed in there, but it's pee, and it is not coming from the vaginal region. It's coming out the urethra.
So it's peeing out of your urethra.
It's squirting from your urethra.
But it is urine.
It's urine.
Shut it up. Okay, she just blew everybody's mind. Yeah, Curtis said it's perineal area. She just blew everybody's mind. Yes, it's piss. They saying, no, it's not. They going back and forth. Latasha said, absolutely, it's peeing. OMG. And everybody's making such this big deal. Yeah, I got this girl. She's a squirter.
It's not a know-how, first of all. It's not something that you know how to do as opposed to. It's not necessarily a skill that can be taught per se. It can if your anatomy is set up in such a way to where your bladder can be stimulated, then okay. But not every woman can do that. Now, do I think every woman can have an orgasm? Yes. But squirting, not necessarily. So consider yourself the lucky ones if you are.
Alicia says, who wants to squirt now? Y'all heard it from a sex therapist, y'all. Y'all heard it from the expert. All right, Tashura says some people haven't opened up and haven't opened up to really exploring their bodies. Sonia Martin says that's what I thought. I read about it. I read that it was pee. Tashura says I thought squirting comes from the semen gland. It's clear and odorless. So different thoughts. I will give a counter to this. I will say, let me see, how do I say it? Because I know my mama listening and everybody. Okay. I say it a certain way. But I will say, I will give a counter. There is a way that you can angle if you're having sex and he angles like down this way, that will cause you to have an orgasm that shoots up.
Okay.
I don't know if it's called squirting. I'm gonna call it a different name since you said that's pee, and I know it wasn't pee.
Okay.
I've experienced it.
There are some other fluids that are mixed in.
There are, and you know, women can orgasm like 12 different ways, and each way that you orgasm looks different, feels different, it acts different, and I think the thing is most of us haven't tapped into all of those ways.
Now, you know how some people say, and of course, you know, this has been debunked, but some people will say we only use 10% of our brain power. We only use 10% of our sex power.
Absolutely.
I believe that to be true.
Oh, yeah, it is true. And if you study it, because I'm a Googler, I'm always Googling things, you know, that's how if you want to spice up your relationship, you need to look up some other ways that you can orgasm and bring that to the bedroom.
Yeah,
and let's try it like this.
Women having orgasm in their breasts.
Yes.
You can have an orgasm in your spine. I know a lot of people have heard about that tingling in your spine. You're having an orgasm in your spine as well as your pelvic region. You can have an orgasm by playing with someone's toes that you can bring them to orgasm.
I knew a lady, oh my God, you just made me remember. She had some type of illness where her body was in pain. So her husband would massage her feet, and whatever he did with her feet would allow her to orgasm. I promise you, this is what she shared. She couldn't do anything up here. She was like totally ill, couldn't move. But he would massage her feet, and that would allow her to have pleasure. And I was like, oh my God. I was just like, God just gave you a gift because she's sick. You know, she can't do anything. But he could pleasure her through her feet, through her toes.
And it's not just women. I think I've read that men are also sensitive in their big toe region as well. So if you are, you know, at a certain position where you can stimulate the toes as well, then it's supposed to intensify some men's orgasm as well. Yeah.
So I really think that we don't know enough, and it's more positions versus missionary and doing it from doggy style. I mean, there are more positions than 2 positions, and you know, it's not just one way to orgasm. I think that we don't know enough about sex. And
but whose fault is that, really?
It's yours, because the internet is available.
It's ours. It's ours once you get to a certain age. But you know, I like to compare and contrast sexual education in certain societies, and I can appreciate that in France they do age-appropriate sex education, and it includes pleasure at a certain age.
No.
They talk about pleasure, absolutely.
Really? Wow.
And so when you become an adult, you're not a clueless adult relying on porn or anything like that to teach you what to do and what not to do.
Let's talk about that, because I do not like men who have porn addictions. When you sleep with a man who's like all he does is watch porn, he wants you to replay these things that he sees in porn. And to me, the best sexual partner is not someone that, I saw this dude flip this girl, and that's, to me, the best sexual partner is someone who wants to please you, and they're in tune with you and what you like, and they're just so focused on you versus what they saw on the screen. We have a caller, so this person's gonna get a prize. Who do we have, caller? Thanks for calling Conversations with Cupid.
Hi, this is Tara.
Hey, Tara. Welcome to Conversations with Cupid. What's your question?
Thank you.
Turn your radio down. Turn the volume down. Okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Okay. So I would like to know, is there possible ways that you can... Okay, I'm sorry. Is there a way that you could possibly experience orgasms through sexual foreplay before penetration?
Yeah. Wait. Let me ask you a question. Are you a virgin?
No.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm not.
I have to ask because I do know some virgins. You're asking, can you have orgasms through foreplay? Absolutely, I can answer that.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Okay, so current data is showing that up to 80% of women do not have an orgasm through penetration alone. So a lot of women will find that they will have their orgasm during what I call sex play, which is, sometimes the before or the during, where you take a break from the penetration and you do some other stuff. So, yes, you absolutely can have an orgasm from sex play or foreplay, as you said. And it could be, simulated orally or, through massage. There's a lot of ways that you can do that, but the majority of women
that's how we
find
achieve
that they
orgasm.
are not going to have an orgasm through penetration alone. And that should be good news for men out there as well. No, it's not you. It's not,
just that's how we're
just
made. And when you look at the anatomy of a woman, and most of us have orgasms clitorally, and there are multiple ways to have orgasms, but clitorally, that's where most of us are having our orgasms. Well, when he's penetrating, he's typically not up here with this clitoris. He's down here in your vagina.
In your vagina, sometimes near your cervix.
So your clitoris is up here. He's not reaching that.
Right.
So unless he's there and touching it, which I don't like, something that might be something some women like, some women don't like. I don't want you touching me, but orally that will do it for me. Everybody's going to be different, right?
Everybody's different.
To that point, I think if they have oral sex first, you've already gotten that out the way.
Oral sex and you find that you orgasm off of oral sex, then certainly having oral sex before penetration will get you to orgasm.
Yep. Or to your point, stopping in the middle. If he's in the middle and he stops and goes back to that, he can have y'all can have oral sex in the middle and then go back to it. But there are multiple ways. Also, you can stimulate the clitoris riding him.
You can. There are a lot of different ways. There are a lot of positions. I would encourage you to kind of Google it and do some research on different positions that stimulate the G-spot and the clitoris simultaneously. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about the clitoris itself. The clitoris is not just that little pearl. That's just the glands, just the tip of the clitoris. The clitoris is actually, if you Google a 3D model of it, it's fascinating, but it actually it encircles the vagina.
Whoa.
Yeah, the clitoris.
This is deep, y'all.
Legs and it looks a lot.
It encircles the vagina.
Yeah, Google 3D clitoris so you can see how the clitoris is actually shaped, and it does encircle the vagina. So there's a little bit of back and forth about what the G-spot is now. Some people are wondering if the G-spot is its own little anatomical structure that has its own nerve endings, or because of where it's situated against some of the inner makings or the inner parts of the clitoris, it stimulates the clitoris. I saw a model, and it was like this big old and this like huge gland sticking out. Yeah. And everybody, male and female, starts off like that. And if you are a male, then that extends, and if you are a female, then that tucks in and becomes a vagina. Yeah. So we all start from the same look. Up until 6 weeks, we all start the same way with our genital development, and then at 6 weeks
it determines.
For most people.
Well, yeah, that's a great question, and also I would say toys. I think a lot of some people are new now trying toys. Toys is a great way to experiment, to understand what you like. Right. Would you agree with that?
Well, I do. Yeah. I'm pro toys, but I want to know, is there anybody out there who feels threatened by sex toys?
Yeah, a lot of people don't like toys. Wait, Tara, please email
me at Mikaela. It's Mikaela, and I guess we'll just need to post this later, but Mikaela at rwcatlanta.com, or you can go to my website.
I'll put it here.
rwcatlanta.com, and you can email me.
Oh, you did it?
Through the contact us page.
Spell it again. Jack is going to put it there.
AELA at rwcatlanta.com. RWC, the Relationship Wellness Center.
Okay.
Jack is going to put her email address there. When you email her, you will receive a prize for being a caller today. So thank you for calling in to Conversations with Cupid.
Oh, thank you so much, Faye. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mikaela.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tara.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's see what we've... Yeah, that's it. Mikaela at rwcatlanta.com. Let's see what other questions we have. Y'all are coming with the questions. Alicia said, did I miss the orgasm discussion? Tashura says, I'm trying to use 99.9%. You said we only use 10%. And Sonia said, how do we get the other 90%? Darren says, lack of sexual education at a young age is a big issue. Tara says, knowledge is power. Look, listen, feel, notice what gets a reaction. Alicia says it has legs, huh? Darren Davis says toys and a willing partner are great for learning. Absolutely. Amayo, happy birthday, girl. She says,
Happy
I hate
birthday.
that I'm at work and can't hear the whole interview. Latasha says, I just Googled it, the 3D clitoris. She says it looks weird. Taurus Breaker says, I put that toy out of work. Listen, let me also say this. Just because your woman uses a toy does not mean that you are not pleasing her sexually. I want to clarify that because a lot of men think if she's using a toy, it's because she doesn't have a man.
Or if your man was hitting it right, you wouldn't
need a toy.
this toy.
Let me say, I am a toy user, and I freely and proudly say that that's not my issue.
Right.
But we're very sexually compatible. But I just like my toy because my toy might do something that you can't do.
And
or
that's exactly right. I think a lot of women will use toys that specifically stimulate the clitoris or the G-spot. And that's just something that we don't get from penile,
penetration,
vaginal, intercourse
Yes.
alone. So, yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that she needs to replace you. It just means that there's a different sort of sensation that she's going for.
Right.
And penises, they don't vibrate.
They're limited to, they don't have the different power settings.
They don't have motors,
a lot of men are intimidated by toys, and I've known men that they find their women have a toy and they don't want them, they throwing them out, and it feels like it's cheating to them. But don't compete against the toy. The toy is your friend. Use the toy in
conjunction with what you're doing. And also, there are a lot of couple-friendly toys out there that offer joint stimulation.
Yes.
So you may find a toy. I know the We Vibe is one, but there's another
the butterfly.
one that I have in my bedroom. I cannot think of the name at right now, but it's sort of shaped like a horseshoe, or a wishbone rather, and it's made to stimulate both the penis and the vagina.
Yes,
so
there are toys for couples
that you can use together.
Don't be intimidated by the toys, and two, the toy helps her to learn her body and to know what pleases her. She could tell you, I like it like this, or do it like this, because she knows her body from using the toy. Also, to your point, and I think it's empowering for women to achieve orgasms by themselves. It's so empowering.
I think it's empowering, and I think it's important.
Oh, yes.
That's just one thing that I believe. I know some people are not comfortable masturbating, and that's fine at that, but I am a pro-masturbation clinician.
Amen, sis.
I think everybody should pleasure themselves. Know your body. Know thyself. Know what it
That's
is
number
that you
one.
like.
Know yourself. How can I help you? How can I guide you to what I like, so that I'm not just sitting here as a pillow princess letting you do whatever?
Exactly.
How do I tell you what I like if I don't know what I like?
But that's why, again, going back to the product that I have on my website, if you go to www.rwcatlanta.com and you click on the OMG Yes, if you have an Android phone, you want to make sure that you use a laptop instead. For some reason, it doesn't show up well on phones. But click on that link, especially if you are a woman and you don't know what you like. OMG Yes is revolutionary, and it is research-based. So it is not some celebrity telling you what you should and should not like, or what you should and should not do or try. It is really a program based on research that help women figure out what it is that they like, so that you can communicate that to your partner.
Absolutely. I'm all for it. All right. Tree says Bob, a battery operated boyfriend, can be a single girl's bestie. Amen, sis. Listen, I understand you waiting. I understand you know. And also, let me tell you how the toy can be a good friend to you. Sometimes, and this is not against, yes, I'm sexually liberated, but sometimes your vagina can make a decision that your mind isn't ready for, right? So if you go on and knock that off before your date,
that is true.
Then you can focus. Because if it's been months, right? If let's say it's been 6 months since you had sex, you might say some things or do some things on that date that you wouldn't normally do if you had sex. So you use your toy, get it out the way, then go on the date. Now I have a free thought. Now I can talk to you with a clear mind, and I'm not gonna say nothing crazy like, let's jump in the back of the car right now.
Let's go.
Because sometimes it has a mind of its own, so you gotta tame it and then go on about your day.
Right. If you want to.
If you want to.
If you're going on the date with the intention of, I'm open to a one night stand, or I'm open to having sex on the first night, then go ahead. But if you don't want to, go ahead, get one out before you go on the date. I think it helps.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so Tashira says, I knew someone that would use a toy right after sex with her guy. He called me saying he needed to talk about it. Yeah, some men are intimidated. That does not mean she was not pleased by you. Some women, let me tell you, some women get stimulated after orgasm. After you reach orgasm and you ejaculate in her, there's something that has a name. I can't think of it. But there are some women who get turned on by that. So you just ejaculated. Now she's turned on again. You done. So she uses her toy.
And the sexual response cycle is different for men and women. That recovery time is different. Women can sometimes go back to back.
We can have multiple orgasms.
We can have multiple orgasms, whereas a man might have a little downtime after he's had an orgasm, after he's ejaculated. He needs a few minutes to himself.
Recuperate.
So maybe she's just going ahead and she's, she knows you down for the night.
Right.
She might go ahead and get
it. Doesn't mean
she's got one or two more in her. She's going to go ahead and
And that's why I say don't let the toy be competition for you. The toy can be your friend. And some women have some women have a very high sex drive. And you have to be a machine to be able to keep up with her sex drive. I'm sorry. You can give her 3-4 rounds and she still want it again. Right. So that's what the toy is, your friend too. Right. And you go, okay, go ahead and use that toy. I know I've given you my all. I've given it the best.
Done. Please. Go see Bob.
Yeah, see Bob. All right. So yeah, Kiki says there are toys that give both people pleasure. Absolutely. Tashura says, I wouldn't use a toy often. I'd rather have the real thing. Men don't vibrate. You know what? Hey, that's your choice. If you don't want to use a toy, that's fine. But it doesn't mean that someone who does use a toy, that there's something wrong with their sex life.
There is such a thing as there is a thing about becoming desensitized by using too much of a vibrator. Using, there are different kind of toys. Not all of them vibrate, but if you're using a vibrator to the point to where you can only have an orgasm with the vibrator, and you used to be able to have an orgasm with your partner, then that's an indication that you may be desensitizing yourself. And
I want to pull back.
Take a break.
Yeah. And you can get it back again. I've experienced that. You can get it back again. What you want to do is just take a break.
Yep, take a break.
And stop using the toy and just, experiment with him, get it back again, then you can go back to your toy. You just have to take a little break.
Yeah, take a little break.
All right, so Amayu says, just be careful with the toy so you don't want to desensitize your body. Absolutely, that's what you just said. Curtis says, the toy may do something a man can't do. With all due respect, you're speaking lady language. A man doesn't like to hear that there's something that you desire that he just absolutely can't do. You may not want to hear it, Kurt, but you need to know.
You don't vibrate, boo.
Let me tell you, these toys have 35 settings. You don't have that. I'm sorry. You could be great.
The head twirls around inside the vagina, the head of the toy. Wow, stimulating the glands of the clitoris. I'm sorry.
Wow, stimulating your G-spot.
Yes.
Wow, in your vagina.
You
can't do that. And so don't try it. That's why I say don't compete against this toy. Just embrace it. Incorporate it. Absolutely.
So what do y'all need us for?
Oh, it's two different things. We just said it's not a competition. Yeah. It's not a competition. You do need both. A toy can't hold you. A toy can't kiss you. A toy can't kiss your breast. A toy can't whisper in your ear.
You typically cannot wrap your legs around
exactly.
the toy. You cannot scratch that toy's back. You cannot, you cannot connect. I mean, because I don't know what they got.
They have a robot. They have
robots. But typically you can.
It's different things. That's why I say it's not competition. You use both. It's not either or. It's both and. I know I need both. I need both. Yeah, absolutely.
I enjoy both, I should say.
Tashura says masturbation alone gets boring. I can't put my own hat, pull my own hair, or smack my own butt.
There you go.
So that point we need y'all for that.
You could, but I mean, but who?
It's not the same. It's not the same thing. You can't smack your own butt. It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Charles says people can think about sex and have an orgasm. So I hear. Yeah, so you heard. You know better. Yes, you can just think. You can have a thought. An orgasmic thought. This is why I say we are so powerful. It's so important that you experience this about yourself. You need to know that he doesn't make you orgasm. This is what I think women need to know. This is why women empowerment is important.
Your most powerful sex organ is
your brain. Yes.
It is your brain.
Absolutely.
It is not the clitoris. It's not the G-spot. It's not the vagina. It's not a penis. It's not a tongue. It's not any of that. It is
your brain.
Here.
Absolutely. And to me, for me, I don't care how big you are, how skilled you are. You have to also be able to stimulate my brain. If you can't stimulate my brain, you can't get to the rest of this.
So Shay's a sapiosexual.
I am a sapiosexual, and I don't hide it. That's my, I don't have these. Some people have very superficial deal breakers like teeth and complexion and whatever. My deal breakers
I gotta be able to converse with you.
If I can't have a conversation with you, if it's not intellectually stimulating, I can't. It's just a no-go for me.
That's me.
You got to be smart. If you're not smart, we just can't. That's mine. Absolutely, I don't make any excuses about that. But stimulating my brain, you can stimulate the brain in sex, out of sex, before you get to sex. But I really like it, conversation. For me, that's what stimulates me before you even get to anything else.
I'm turned on to know that you're intelligent.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a turn off if you're not.
No, please don't be stupid.
Please, yeah. I'm sorry. I hate to keep saying it. Tashura says, Shay, yes, it keeps you from getting with the wrong person. Absolutely. Many men don't mind using a toy to get yourself off, but most men think like, do that on your own time when I'm not around. But when I'm here, I'm the star of the show. Well, Kurt, I mean, you would have to find a woman that agrees with you. I wouldn't work for you because I'm going to pull it out in front of you. And if that bothers you, then we're not going to work.
I can appreciate when we bring that into
together.
The bedroom and we use it together and it is pleasing you and it's pleasing me, or it's pleasing me and you're pleased that I'm pleased.
And for me let me tell you, this was the height of intimacy in my relationship when I didn't have to hide that from my mate.
Yes.
Where men who have been intimidated by that, I had to do that in private. I had to do that alone.
Step away.
But when I could bring you into my world and say, this is what I do, and I can openly share that with him and him not be intimidated, that was intimacy.
That is a hallmark of sexual compatibility.
That's why I told you we are so compatible. Like I promise you, God is so good. I'm so grateful that we have that.
Yeah, I'm grateful for you.
Amen.
Too.
Because
thank God for Shay's man for Shay. Yes.
Because that's important. That I don't have to hide that from you. I can be completely naked and unashamed, literally, with you, and you not be intimidated by that. But you can go, okay, I see what she likes, and then we can incorporate that. And now that takes us to a whole nother level. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But many men are intimidated by toys. They're intimidated by a woman's use of toys.
And that's what? Unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate. And honestly, that might make you sexually incompatible. I think you need to get over yourself. Get over yourself. Nobody ever said that your penis was supposed to do everything that she needed.
Nope.
Nobody ever told you that. Why do you think that?
But that's a good point, though. So, I mean, your one penis may not be able to do everything that I need. So let's say, let's flip the tables a little bit, and let's say that what one woman brings to the table doesn't do everything that a man needs.
It's very possible.
How do we handle that in a relationship, or how should we?
I'm glad I don't have that problem, but if I am glad, but I know that there are men who do feel that way, and like the guy who was on the show when we did polyamory, he said that he needed each woman, they each fulfilled something different. One of them was mentally stimulating, one of them was spiritually, one of them was sexually, whatever. He got a little bit from each of them, and that works for them. That's not my problem, so I can't really speak to it. So
I was just wondering what the men and women had to say about that.
Let's see what they have to say. But y'all need to call in. She got some gifts, and she can't give them away if y'all don't call in. 478-569-6474. She's got some gifts to give away, so please call in. She's even going to somebody's going to get a free consultation, sex therapy. Some of y'all need this. A lot of y'all need this. You need to call in and get it.
Call in, please.
Okay. Kiki says some men equate orgasm with whether a woman is pleased, which is a myth. Okay, let's talk about that. Can you be pleased without having orgasm?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at it,
most people are.
A lot of women are not having orgasms, and the ones that are, they're doing it on their own, or it's clitoral stimulation. But that doesn't mean that she does not enjoy penetration. She may enjoy it very much. It's the connection with you. It feels
it's more
good, but
than
it's
that.
just not what it needs to bring her to orgasm. It doesn't bring her to climax. So that is a myth. That's a
very
good
myth.
point.
And, okay, we got a caller. Hey.
Hey, caller.
Hey, caller. Welcome to Conversations with Cupid.
How you doing today? How y'all doing?
Good. Who's that?
Oh, this shit. I was just listening to y'all conversation.
Why you laughing, Sid?
Oh, I was laughing?
Yeah.
We call the thing I just heard y'all say. Y'all say a man can't compete with the toy, so don't try to compete, right?
Right.
And it was out there?
Yeah.
Well, I beg to differ that.
Okay. You beg to differ that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, come on to bed.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff we do the toy can't do. Like, we don't run out of battery. Well, I don't.
You the Energizer Bunny rabbit.
The toy she just described, though, bro, I don't
I
know.
run out of battery. You feel what I'm saying?
Well, and that's why we're saying don't compete, because there are things that you bring that the toy can't bring.
Exactly.
Right? The toy. We're saying what you're saying. Don't compete with the toy. You bring.
I mean, but y'all just gave the toy just so much. Like she said, it curls and goes inside and cups
it
something,
does.
and
you
it
can't.
throws it back.
You can't curl inside.
You cannot do that. You
Yes,
cannot
can.
do
Yes, I
that.
can. I
You
do
can't
all the
curl
time.
inside. See it? Come on now. You can't curl up inside.
You can twirl like
I
this.
can curl
You see,
up
are you
inside. I
watching
do
the
jumping
screen?
jacks inside. See, we different than
Jumping
the
jacks
toys.
inside.
That's
I just
different.
play.
You're talking about bouncing up and down. You straight though.
I
Think
know.
about it. You straight bouncing up and down. This toy is curling. You can't curl, Sid. You can't do that.
Sid sounds to me like he ain't ever had no complaints. That's how he sounds.
But none of them have had complaints because we don't tell them all the time. You know how that goes. We don't
That's how
tell
he
them.
sound to me. I ain't never had no complaints.
You know what,
Sid?
Sid?
It's not about competing. What did we say? It's not about
It's not about
competing.
competing.
It's about incorporating.
And I believe Sid is a pro with it. But what I'm telling you is they have some toys that can do some things that you just cannot do.
are physically incapable.
And you know what? I find that so unfair because y'all got all the toys to do all the things with, and we just left out here with nothing but lotion and
That's
stuff. We
not
don't have
true.
no toys.
They have
That's
toys
not
for
true.
women.
They're
It's
I mean,
so
men.
unfair for us.
There are toys for
Huh?
men. Matter of fact, I would encourage you to go to manshop.com and you can see it is an intimate accessory boutique
Just for men.
that is centered around men's pleasure. And there are a lot of things that you can find on there that are for men and not for women.
I don't need the things in per se. I was just saying in general, but
So that's the thing.
Nice
You
to know,
know,
but
let
I don't
me-
need them per se.
Let me tell you what. Here's the difference. How many times do you have sex and not have an orgasm, on average?
How many? On like truthfully?
Truthfully.
Something like I just fake it.
Yes. Like when you have sex, do you most of the time have an orgasm?
It depends on who I'm with.
Okay.
Okay. Well, 85% of women never have orgasms when they have sex, right? That's not even fair because most of the time when y'all have
Okay,
sex,
yeah.
y'all come. Yes. Yes.
Come on.
Yeah, mostly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah.
85% of so most of the women you have had sex with have never had an orgasm. They're enjoying sex with you, but they're not having orgasm. These are toys that are helping them to achieve orgasm. How can that not be fair?
I mean, it sounds like it's a healthy ordeal going on. Like, y'all need it and they were provided for y'all. But what I'm saying is, like, I just can't give all the power to the toy like that.
Well,
Y'all
we're
just
not
give all
giving power to the
all
toy.
power to the toy.
Again, no, it's
What
not
y'all
about
really
giving up
saying
power.
is the power satisfies and we just stimulate. Like, that's
No,
what you're really saying, right? Like, we get
you're her life partner. You're her living diary. You're her everything. She can lay on you after you hold her, you cuddle her. The toy can't do none of that emotionally. The toy can't do that. So I'm saying it's not a competition, but I am saying there are some things that toy can do that you cannot do. So don't even try it.
Right.
Just know that toy
Okay.
does that purpose and you serve yours.
Right.
Two separate
it
purposes.
offers a very type of sensation. So even if I am having an orgasm with my man and
Yes.
it's penetration, I'm one of the lucky,
Okay.
15% who's able to do that. That doesn't necessarily mean that I don't want to feel a different kind of stimulation that a toy can provide that you are just physically incapable of doing.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't mean that they don't enjoy sex with you. It doesn't mean any of that. It just means that it's something different and they enjoy that.
And it's not a competition.
It's not a competition. You should incorporate it though.
So what you saying?
Okay, so like I heard, can you please say your names again?
I'm Shay and that's Mikaela.
Mikaela.
Okay, well, I can't remember which one said it, but I heard you say that wait a minute. Wait, I'm sorry. But you say like the women use the toys for to catch the orgasm and stuff. So y'all saying like y'all have never caught an orgasm by a man? Like
that's not what I'm
Not
saying.
by a man. What we're saying is that it is more difficult, and research has proven that it is more difficult for women to come to orgasm through penetration alone. That's what we're saying.
Well, who they did research on? They're researching the wrong places.
So your women are orgasming through sex. Is
He
that
ain't
what you're
never had
saying?
no complaints.
Let me tell you, Sid, just because we fake it a lot. I'm gonna be honest with you. We fake it, and it is I'm not trying to.
I do too.
You fake it too?
I do too, but I kinda
Why do you
feel
fake it,
behind,
Sid?
the evidence left behind.
Why you faking it though?
You know,
That's an
evidence
interesting
left behind.
question. I want
You know the the squirting and the skin and all that shit, the big old wet spots and the big old scratch marks in your back, then you know when the faking going on too, and just that's faking. But when all the physical evidence left behind, I kind of hard to fake all that.
No, I believe that you are a pro with it, but I have a question for you. Why are you faking your orgasms?
Because I don't be having time for that shit all the time. You feel what I'm saying? I like to make money. And then sometimes it be necessary me going out to go and do my thing. So I be trying to like hurry up. When I see that kid girl, I try to hurry up and get the hell on about dope. Cause I got to make some money and shit. I can't be laying around all sweaty and, you know what I mean? I got to try to hurry up so I can get back out there to the money.
But can't fake it. You can't fake ejaculating. You can't fake ejaculating, right? You can't fake it.
Yes, I can. I wear a condom. I have on condom. Oh, I ski that. I jump out or I take the condom off. I walk off. You know, it's over with.
So you've done that before too, Jack? Oh. Okay. Well, amen. I learned something new today. Thank you for calling. Oh, wait. See it. Email Mikaela so she can give you a prize.
Okay.
All right. Send her an email to Mikaela. Oh, he put it on the screen.
It's on the
Makaela at rwcatlanta.com. We have so much technology here at Instinct Radio.
Okay,
yes.
Can you say it again?
Mikaela is Makae.
It's Mikaela at rwcatlanta.com.
Okay.
It's on the screen.
I'm out there right now.
All right, send her an email so she can give you a prize.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. It won't be what?
It won't be a vibrator, will it?
A vibrator.
Yours is going to be a vibrator.
Send him a Fifi. You know what they call them, Fifis?
A Fifi? Okay, y'all have a good day.
Oh, that's in jail? Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about then. That's in jail.
I would like to know. Okay, you got a question.
So what you're saying is our best bet is just learn how to work the toys with you.
Yes. Amen. Let me tell you, that makes sex so great.
I agree.
Because you are you seeing what she enjoys with the toy. Mm-hmm. You use the toy on her, then you come back behind it with something the toy can't do.
I personally agree with all that. I don't feel
you're not intimidated.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just more stuff I can work on you or with you.
Absolutely.
So
and that's the right way to look.
That's the right attitude.
That's the right
Most
attitude.
men are intimidated though. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like, why you got a toy? Why you need a toy?
They feel like the toy is replacing them or it's supplemental to what they're doing.
And
really,
it's not.
It's just different. It's just different.
He said he fakes orgasms. Jack, you ever faked an orgasm? I think that's so weird.
Now men do fake orgasms.
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth.
Gentlemen out there, can you chime in and let us know if you're not ashamed, have you ever faked an orgasm? Because I don't know.
You can't fake coming though.
You have on a condom.
If you don't have on a condom, you can't fake coming.
No, if you don't have on a condom, you can't fake.
So these are people, they have on a condom and they just act like they came, but they didn't.
Why?
You can't because I'm a no.
But with the condom, you definitely can.
You can fake it.
Yeah.
Just like me personally, I go too long. And a lot of times,
they tired.
You're going an hour and a half.
Wait, you haven't come and it's been an hour stretch.
I definitely, yes.
And so, she's like,
right. Of course, so you have to just, and
so you fake it.
Only because it make her feel bad that you didn't.
Oh.
So there's that. And that's exactly why women are faking their orgasms.
To speed it up.
To speed it up. Or because we don't want the man to feel bad about it, because we don't want you to feel like you don't satisfy or pleasure me, so I'm going to.
But that's confusing though, because of course sex is communication. So if I'm trying to stress we just starting out or whatever, and you trying to tell me you came from this, you called it orgasm for this, but you lied. So now I'm trying to still do that.
Yeah, we do lie. I'm gonna tell you the truth because we know that your ego is fragile. So we do pretend that we come. You might say how many times you came. We might say 5, but it's really. I mean, we do.
She been lying all this time.
Stop doing that, ladies out there. Stop
they do lie
today. Do not fake any more orgasms. You owe it to yourself to have a real orgasm.
A real one, authentic.
You are entitled to pleasure, and you are confusing these people out here, these men and these women that you are with. If you are faking these orgasms, they think that you are giving them the positive feedback that they need so that they can do what you like.
That messed them up.
Yeah, at the
just
end
tell
of the day,
truth so he can try harder next time or try to figure out, ask you some questions. Okay, babe, what did I do last time?
What do you need to do different?
I mean, if you fake it, that's just all wrong. It's no good to that.
It's really, you're not getting it, but nobody's benefiting from you fake it and lying.
Right.
But so what I want to know is, you're right, women need to stop faking orgasms. It's confusing everybody, and you're doing false learning out there. They're learning things that you actually
That's
don't
why they
like.
think they know what they're doing and they
but
don't.
Are you receptive to feedback?
Exactly. You have to be. I mean,
a lot of men are not.
Like you said a lot of good points earlier. I mean, people are different. Just like when you saying what works for you, Shay, that's what works for you. So you meet a man and he's kissing you all over your face, like you said. That might be what the last one. If you don't talk to him and he won't know. It's just like sex. I could be, you know how you could. One woman could want it deep. One woman could want, like you said, the angle up. But you got to figure out what that woman wants.
Absolutely. No. You know what? I have to go back and say yes. Yes, I agree with you because some men don't know the difference between breaking your back and making love. And I think that's something you need to know, that it's two different things. Sometimes you want your back broke. Sometimes you want the bed broke, your back broke. Sometimes you want it like that.
Sometimes you want to make love.
And sometimes you just want to make love. And every man needs to know that's something you need to know how to switch out, because there are different situations that will call for each one. If it's your anniversary, or if it's her birthday, or if it's I miss you. You got to know how to have. See, this is another thing I think men need to know: how to communicate with sex. I miss you, sex. I'm sorry, sex. I love you, sex. You got to know how to communicate with sex.
But it's going to be different
for each one. I'll go back and admit that it might be different for each.
Yeah, like you didn't want to give them a chance. Oh nope, I don't like the way.
You know what? Honestly, because I'm in a situation where I don't have to do that now. Right. We've been together 5 years. I don't have to do that now. And I was in a situation, but my ex had erectile dysfunction. Okay. And he had the kind where he couldn't come. Okay. So he was really only doing it for me. So sex was obligatory. He wasn't getting nothing out of it. He couldn't come. So he couldn't come. Yeah. So right.
But I think that's important too when we're talking about how.
I deal with you, Jack. So think about it. Every time we did it, it was just for me. So I wanted to do it all the time, and every time we did it, it's just for me. He's not getting nothing out of it.
Down for you.
At some point, and that's why we're not together. Right. Because
working hard, and
now it was great for me too, though. Let me tell you why it was great. Because he could do something most men couldn't do. He could go forever, and I could come for as many times I wanted to.
And then there's that.
Is that, yes. I could come 50 times, and he's just laying there, because he couldn't come. So it's perks. Other men who come can't do that, because at some point they're going to want to come,
it's always best when you just can control it.
It's always best when you're with somebody who doesn't have erectile dysfunction. I'm just going to be honest. Yeah. Because there are different types. There are the type that can't come. There's the type that can't get up. Yep. And then there's one that can't stay up. So they get up, they hard, and they go limp. Yeah, and they lose it. So there are different types of erectile dysfunction. How do you deal with that with couples?
People who come in with erectile dysfunction? Well, it depends on whether or not it's a medical issue or whether or not it's a psychological issue. If it's a psychological issue, then we can work on it. But if it's a medical issue and purely a medical issue, then you want to see a urologist and see if there's some medication.
Because some drugs will cause erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, some drugs will. You can go to a pelvic floor physical therapist, and they probably tell you some exercises, some different things that you can do. Sometimes it's diet related. Sometimes you need, a little bit more of this or a little more of that. You
lose weight.
Sometimes it's stress. Yeah, diabetes and things like that can lead to erectile dysfunction. So if it's a medical issue, you want to see a medical practitioner. But if all of that has been ruled out and you're having performance anxiety, or you're just, used to having orgasms from self-stimulation, from, watching porn or something like that, and you're having a hard time connecting with a real partner, then those are things that we can work on in session.
Okay, that's good. All right, y'all, we got to wrap up in just a minute. But, this has been such a great conversation. We're probably going to need to have a part 2, girl, because I feel like there's so many topics we didn't even get to hit.
I wanted to say, that allow your partner to be your best sex educator. We don't really do a good job of having sex positive sex education in the U.S. in our culture. We just don't do it. So we rely on a lot of phallocentric things like some porn and different things like that to teach us what to do.
Phallocentric meaning is leaning toward the man.
It is centered on penile pleasure. And we had started talking about porn, and I think the discussion led to something else because we are just having such a good time up in here.
It's a great conversation.
But, going back to porn, and porn addiction has been debunked. That's not a real.
There is no porn addiction.
There is no such thing as a porn addiction. Recent research has debunked that. Now, there are people who have sexual impulsiveness or impulsivity, and some of that can be associated with porn. But there is no real porn addiction. That is new research.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
But you know what? What I find with this whole porn thing, I don't like porn because most of the time it's not pleasing for women. Like to your point,
most women do not like porn.
It's so first of all, they start off with her just bent over and they just going straight at it.
Or they only show you this one scene, and this is where it gets to where in real life you start to see men who treat the clitoris as like it's some sort of power button. Like if I press it enough times, it's gonna,
that's why I don't want you to touch it.
The leakage will come out.
No.
And that's not how it works. But also, what we don't see are the outtakes.
Yes.
We don't see that you think this woman has her legs spread eagle a certain kind of way, but what you don't understand is like there's a pillow
time to
with
get
some
there.
other things that are propping her up that are not in the scene. I have seen some documentaries where these women are high on different kinds of drugs and things like that.
And there's a man who has a fluffer. Somebody's fluffing him up throughout.
To take away the pain because it's so painful. Some of these scenes that you think are pleasurable,
we have a call. Hold a call for one quick second. Because what I wanted to say on that note before I lose it is that what I don't like about porn is it doesn't show the romance before the sex. It doesn't show the lead up. It doesn't show the conversation. Hey, how you doing? Okay, well, we just had dinner. Oh, I love you so much. And then the build up, because you don't just start with sex. It don't just start like that.
Every now and then, yes. But for the most part, there is a build-up that has to take place, and you don't see that on screen.
And that's what I don't like about it. All right, caller, thank you for calling Conversations with Cupid. Oh, the caller's gone. All right, good. Okay, so, we could use somebody else. We need to give away some more prizes. So, y'all see Mikaela's email address. If you didn't get to call, but you want to call, please.
Can we put the email address back?
Put the email address, yes, please. And then you could just email Mikaela. And the email address is there. Send her an email, and she has some prizes that she wants to give out. Let me see if we had any more questions. Yes, I miss you, sex. Yes, that is what Alicia says. You need to know how to have that. Jay says the female ego is much bigger than the male. If a man tells a woman he didn't come, she'll automatically think he's messing with someone else. If a woman doesn't orgasm, men take it as personal, a personal affront, and go harder. Most women would not be able to handle it if they really knew how many men are not being pleased, but to spare their feelings, they fake it.
Yeah, well then y'all stop faking it too. Everybody stop faking it.
Listen.
Stop faking it and allow your partner to be your sex educator. Learn what he likes. Learn what she likes. Don't use porn. Don't use magazine advice. Don't use any of that. Engage and connect with each other. Figure out what you like.
Listen, and the thing about it is, the best sex is when neither one of you has to fake it and you both really enjoy it. And that's out there. I'm going to tell you because, I just shared my experience. I went from this very deflating experience to a very great experience. And it's out there. I tell them, my book is called There's a Lid for Every Pot. And I say all the time, there's someone that fits with you. That's a perfect fit for you. And that's the lid for your pot. And that person, you don't have to fake it with them. That person is going to be open.
You just be yourself, and they accept you. You come as you are, and they receive you.
Yes, as you are. Yes, and that's the beauty about finding someone that you can be absolutely honest with. And I can say, do this, do that, and he'll say, okay, and do it, and don't feel no kind of way about it. And that's what makes it beautiful when you can both share feedback with each other, and not take it personally. So anyway, I just want to thank you again, Mikaela, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it. We have to do this again.
Definitely. We'll have a part 2. Okay. They need to send me their questions in advance. But this is such a great conversation, and we could talk about it forever. Yeah. But y'all, please look Mikaela up. What's your website again?
It's rwcatlanta.com. That's the Relationship Wellness Center. And be sure to email me so that you can get some of those giveaways that I have for you. And I hope to hear from some of you guys.
Absolutely. And I have some clients I need to send your way. So you're gonna hear from me, definitely.
And vice versa. I have some clients that listen.
Bring them.
Go see Shay because
I
don't know.
Bring them.
Let her find you a man.
Yes, bring them. And it's great if they've come from you. They don't have these sexual issues that we have to deal with. Girl, because I can match you, but if you have sexual issues, once I match you, y'all gonna break up because you got some issues you haven't dealt with. So it's great that they're gonna come from you already having worked that stuff out.
If you're thinking about calling Shay, but you have some sexual issues to be worked out, come see me first.
Absolutely.
And I'll send you on to Shay.
Let's partner. Let's get this done. All right. So anyway, thank y'all for tuning in to Conversations with Cupid. You can find me at middleclassmatchmaker.com or on my dating site, Middle Class Match. Again, we are grateful to be on the award-winning Instinct radio station. Thank you again for tuning in, y'all. See you next week. Smooches.
Bye.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
If you would like to advertise your business on Conversations with Cupid, airing every Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Instinct Radio, email us at shay@middleclassmatchmaker.com. That's shay@middleclassmatchmaker.com.
You're listening to Conversations with Cupid Radio on InstinctRadio.net.
Is that India? What happened to her hair?